Welcome to the Biz Builders podcast, where we believe building the business of your dreams can change your life. I'm your host, Sandy Patterson, former teacher turned certified life and business coach. After 14 years of teaching, I took a huge leap, left my job, and built 2 successful businesses with no business or sales background. Now I'm living the life of my dreams, and I'm ready to help you do the same. You're in the right spot here if you're ready to dig into not only the strategy of business building, but also the belief in yourself that building a business is possible. You're made for this, and you've got exactly what it takes to create the financial, time, and location freedom you're craving. Over here, we value progress over perfection. We embrace being uncomfortable, and we believe that anything, literally anything you want, is possible for you with the right strategy, mindset, and support. You'll also hear inspiring stories here and, of course, failures of women who are doing the same thing. The whole idea is if she can do it, so can I. Thanks for being here. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Biz Builders podcast. This is an audio from the Biz Builders Insiders series where I'm sharing some of the conversations and questions that are coming up in the Biz Builders Mastermind space. As you'll hear, these short audios are from Instagram Live, and my intention for this series is for you to see what questions people are asking, how I think, how my clients think, how we move, and the things that we're doing to grow businesses that support our dream lives. Because I know for me, I never come into someone's space just for the strategy or for them to tell me what to do. I really want to know more about how they're thinking, how they're leading themselves, the things that are important to them, and the things that they're struggling with and doing, and the way they move and lead themselves and their people. This is your chance to see how we move in the Biz Builders Mastermind space, and also to get some great insights, strategy, and free coaching. Enjoy. Happy Friday. Welcome back. Another little audio episode here of the Biz Builders Insiders, where I'm just giving little peeks into the questions that are asked, the things that we're going over, the strategy that we're implementing, just the way we're thinking, the way we're moving in this space. I hope that you had a really great week. I cannot believe how fast this week went by. For this little episode, for this little audio, I got some questions after I posted that reel the other day showing, because I get the question all the time, like after I left my teaching job, people ask me all the time, do you miss having days off? Do you miss having like Christmas break off? Do you miss having the summer off? That's always a big one. And my answer is always like, hell no, I do not miss having those days off, because basically the time in between those days off, all I was doing was like barely hanging on by a thread, like surviving to get to the next like weekend or the next, break or vacation. And because of that reel, I kind of showed, because Monday was Veterans Day, so my boys were off from school. So it was a day that like I would normally have off, like if I were teaching. So I created a reel that kind of showed like what my day looked like, being able to support my clients, being able to run my business while the boys were sleeping off, and also be a really good mom, be like a really present, involved like mom. So for their day off, right? Because there's always this thing about like we feel like we can only have one or the other. Like we can be a really solid business owner, or we can be a really good mom. I hear that from a lot of my clients, because a lot of my clients are moms, and it's just simply not true. So after that reel, I got a couple questions here on Instagram. And even though these questions were from Instagram, I was thinking, well, this doesn't really relate to the Biz Builders Mastermind, but it kind of does, because my Biz Builders peeps, they know that any question is like I'm an open book. Like you can ask me literally anything about parenting, about being a mom, about, relationships, about business, obviously, or like just life in general, because I really truly believe that business is not just business. Like everything overlaps. And if there's stuff going on in your personal life, or there's stuff that you're grappling with in your relationship, or there's things you're holding on to as far as like, whatever, like we can bring those things to the table. Everything is open here. Like I said, I'm an open book, and my clients all know that. And we've had some conversations that definitely feel unrelated to business, or unrelated to like whatever we came to talk about in the first place. But it very much all connects, because the way that if you're grappling with something, that is impacting the way that you are showing up in your business too. So the first question that I got
about that reel, in regards to that reel, was like, what are the first 3 things that you do when you wake up in the morning? And I thought this was a really cool question, because this is something that I have had to really refine, and it's something that I'm still like working on refining. So the first 3 things I do in the morning, it really depends on what day of the week it is, because a couple days a week I teach a 6 a.m. class at the studio. I teach bar classes. So if I have to be at the studio at like 5:30, my morning is going to look a little bit different than if I like obviously didn't have to be there, because on those mornings I really do kind of just have to like get up and get moving and get going and get ready and get out the door, unless I want to wake up at like 3 a.m., which I don't. I wake up early regardless anyways. But the first, if it's a morning where I kind of have a slower morning, the first 3 things that I do in the morning. So the first thing, number 1, this is going to be funny. So the first thing is I take George out to go to the bathroom, my dog. So he goes to the bathroom. I drink a really big like glass of water. And then the third thing, I always try to tap in before I get on any type of like Slack or Voxer or Instagram or anything like that usually, well, that does come earlier, but before I tap into any of those spaces, like to touch base with my clients or to, you know, check in on that, I always ask myself 2 questions. And I kind of adopted this from my own mentor. And the 2 questions are, number 1, what do you need today, Sandy? And number 2 is, what does your business need today? And on a really great day where I'm like, I have plenty of time, I will journal on those 2 things and just kind of let whatever comes out. And then I make sure that whatever it is that I need today, like whatever comes to mind or whatever like my gut says, I'm like, okay, let's make sure that you're going to get that at some point in the day, that you have that somewhere scheduled in your day. So there's that. And then I also, as far as like, what does my business need? Same thing. Like I'll journal on that, and I'll make sure that there's time in my day and space in my day to make sure that that happens. So those are like basically the 3 like things that I do. If it's a morning where I have to like jet out the door really quickly and just be at the studio, I still am asking myself, what do I need today? And what does my business need today? Like though that's a non-negotiable for me. And that always comes, like I said, before opening up any type of social media, any type of anything. And sometimes what I'll do if I can't journal, so in the morning, I will like voice memo, like I'll just talk it out, or like I'll Vox myself and be like, okay, today you need this. Today your business needs this from you. So that has to happen at some point. So yeah, and I always, every day, like, I exercise every day. That's usually, that happens in the morning, regardless of if I'm teaching or if I'm not, if I'm at the, at home. And yeah, just making sure that my kids are taken care of. Like that's something that really grounds me in the morning, because really I quit my full-time job, right? Because I wanted to be more present with my kids. And so on those days that I have those slower mornings with my boys and I'm able to take them to school, it really grounds me to make sure that they are like completely taken care of, and I'm like spending a little bit of time with them before school, helping them get ready, just be a part of that morning routine, and then dropping them off. And that's really when my day really starts, as far as like client calls and checking in with people. Like I said, I'm an early person, and I am like, I know there are like a lot of rules out there about like time blocking, and when you're just doing this, like when you're just doing business, do business, or when you're just, and I have moments like that. I do have moments like that throughout my day that are scheduled in, but I'm also like, I've also realized that like working in pockets of time is okay. And it doesn't make me like a bad business owner. It doesn't make me a bad mom. It doesn't make me a bad coach. So like one of my favorite things to do when I'm getting ready is to listen in Voxer to my clients, what they are working on that day, what support they're needing today, and just kind of listening in and grounding in, because I can be a good mom and I can support my clients so they feel like so excited and so supported. And I'm literally living that every day. And so I think that going back to those 3 things that I do in the morning, like that really helps. Those I kind of listed more than 3 things, because it's all just a hodgepodge, right? And that's okay. Like there don't have to be rules. That doesn't make sense. There doesn't have to be rules. There are no rules. Like we make the rules, but we're so used to conforming and fitting into certain boxes in the way that things have already been, that I think that we forget that even when we step into entrepreneurship, we forget that, oh yeah, like it can be however I want it to be. And if it's not a problem, I don't need to be making it a problem here. So those are the three things I do. And then the other question I got was about my schedule regarding like my weekly schedule, because some of you might have seen on, what is it over here, there, anywhere. You've probably seen that I usually Fridays are my, I call them no call Fridays. Some people call them CEO days. Some people call them like whatever. So like on Fridays, I typically don't take any calls. I like just because I need a day to like regroup. I need a day to reflect on how the week went. I need a day to kind of prepare for the week ahead. That doesn't mean that like I'm not working, but it definitely is an easier day for me. It's a lighter day for me. My best friend and I will usually always go out to lunch, have a margarita for lunch, like plan things for the week ahead, reflecting on how the week went, all of those good things. So, and I did that. I remember because people tell me often like, oh my gosh, that sounds so nice. Like, I wish that I could have that. I wish that I could have that. I'm like, okay, well, let's fucking make it happen then. Let's do this. Let's sit down and make it happen. But I understand how difficult that can be, coming from this place of like, you feel like you have to be working and doing and performing and producing and achieving all the time. And that was definitely a block that I had to work through. And I remember when I first left my job, so I was used to basically working like all the time. If I wasn't sleeping, I was working or thinking about work. And that's not really a healthy like way to be. But I remember my coach at that time telling me like, oh yeah, I don't take calls on Friday. And I was just like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? How is that even possible? And so I was just like, okay, moving forward, like I'm just gonna start to make that happen. And there would be times when I was like, somebody would ask me, oh, can we take this call on Friday? Can we do this call on Friday? And I'd be like, okay, like breaking my own rule basically. And then I would get on the call and I would just feel so angry at myself. And I would feel really resentful that I like broke that boundary. And so then I'm like, okay, like it just got to a point where like, I just started to not like, I just basically just say like, I'm not available on Friday. And now it's kind of a routine. It's out of the norm when I take a call on Friday if I need to. But it's been the best thing for me. It's been the best thing for my business. And there are definitely days where I like kind of go back into that, like, oh my gosh, I feel kind of guilty for like not working. I mean, I'm still working. I'm still creating content. I'm still, doing things on the back end. I'm still, all of those things are still happening. It's just, I'm not taking calls. But sometimes I'll fall back into that like guilt of like, oh, I should be doing more. I should, like, you can't just take like a whole day off. I've made it happen and here we are and everything's fine. Everything is still moving. Everything's still flowing. So now with my clients, I'm like, okay, it's always about like, tell me what your dream life looks like. Tell me what your dream day looks like. Tell me what your dream week looks like. And then let's work now to start to make that happen. Because again, you make the rules. Like, you literally get to make your rules, especially if you're building something and you're starting to build this business. It gets to be whatever you want it to be. So I want to remind you of that as we head into this weekend. I hope you had a great Friday, and I also hope you have a margarita at some point today. I will be back on Monday with another little episode of this Biz Builders Insiders. But again, like, this didn't really have to do with Biz Builders, but it kind of does. It really does, because all of my Biz Builders people, all of my one-to-one clients, anybody in my space knows that I am a completely open book. So they can ask me anything and we can work through anything. I mean, I know that I'm technically a business coach, but I have like, I'm so many other things. Like, I'm a certified life coach. I'm trauma informed. I'm NLP certified, like all of the things. So definitely, it all is connected. It's never just about business. It's never just about mindset. It's never just about all of the other stuff. It's like the holistic, like who you are and what you're working through and what you're going through. That's always welcome in all of my spaces. You get to show up as you are, and you get to be celebrated, and you get to just be authentically you, and you get to bring whatever those things are to the table, and we will work through them always. So have a great weekend, you guys. I will see you back here maybe this weekend, but maybe on Monday. Okay? Love you guys. Bye.
Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to the Biz Builders Insider clips. I hope you are loving them as much as I am loving creating them. And if you're a coach who's ready to take your online coaching business full-time with foundational strategic pieces, plus the mindset and confidence needed to sustain that business of your dreams, and you're ready to show up and be the go-to coach and own your niche and why you're so damn good at what you do, and if you want to, without question, know what to do every day to sell your offer, get clients, fill your calendar, and focus on your moneymaker activities, the Biz Builders Mastermind family is the perfect home for you. You can find the link to apply in the show notes here, or you can shoot me a message on Instagram with the letters BBMM and we can chat.